My cousin Kyle brought me 200 small nails and challenged me. Could I surprise him by turning these nails into something truly special? First, I made a container from square steel tubing. Then I filled it with all the nails and compressed them tightly using a hammer so everything inside would be packed together as densely as possible. After that, I added steel powder to fill the empty spaces and a small amount of borax to remove oxygen during heating. Then I sealed the container with a weld, but left one small hole for gases to escape. Next, I fired up my charcoal forge, placed the container inside, and once it was fully heated, I slowly began forging it. For about 2 hours, I hammered the container from every side, forcing the contents inside to become one solid mass. Then I let it cool down and used an angle grinder to remove the outer container steel. Inside, the core was already fused together. Now I could continue forging the solid billet itself. I spent the entire day flattening it with my hammer and shaping it into a knife. This was the rough shape. After that, I moved to the belt grinder room. I leveled the sides, removed uneven areas, and refined the contours. Once the contours were corrected, the knife shape became clearly visible. Then came the most important step: grinding the bevels on both sides. This determines both the beauty and the cutting performance of the knife. After grinding the bevels, I heated the blade to around 850 degrees and quenched it quickly in oil. Now the steel was hard and strong. Next came sanding. I sanded the blade from 150 grit all the way to 1200 grit. Then I cleaned the blade thoroughly and placed it into ferric chloride for a few minutes. After rinsing it again, a beautiful texture appeared. I marked points on a brass plate, drilled them, then refined the opening with a hand file and shaped the piece. For the handle, I used a block of hardwood. I drilled the center and glued the blade together with the bolster using epoxy. The next day, after the epoxy cured, I started shaping the handle on the belt grinder. Once I had the main shape, I hand sanded it up to 320 grit. Finally, I applied protective wax to protect the wood from moisture and sharpened the blade. And this is the final result. If you think Kyle will be shocked when he sees this, make sure to subscribe.